What is up, guys? My name is Darren Jackson. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. And we finally got details on the IPO date for Forest Road acquisition. Now, if you're like me and you were actually interested in the IPO for this SPAC, then you probably looked on the 25th on Robinhood or your brokerage app to try to invest into it, and you realized you couldn't. I was a little confused about that too, but I think I may know why. So we're gonna cover that in this video. We're also going to cover what exactly is Forest Road acquisition, the execs and the board of directors that are involved in it, the IPO details as far as financially, and then discuss more about that date I was talking about, and then the plans that I have for it. So before we start this video, keep in mind that I'm not going to go into deep detail as far as the board of directors and the execs, but I do mention that in a previous video that I made a month ago, which, by the way, I think I'm the only finance YouTuber that talked about this acquisition, so either I'm missing something or I don't know, but it's pretty cool. But I go into deep detail about the board of directors and the execs involved because that's kind of all I have as far as my interest level in that SPAC. So definitely check that out before or after you watch this video. I'll link a link right above here. But otherwise, let's get started. Okay, so what is Forest Road acquisition? So Forest Road acquisition is a SPAC. And basically what a SPAC is upon entering the stock market, its goal is to acquire a company that shares the same interests with through a process called a reverse merger. And that's really beneficial for that particular company that's entering the stock market through the reverse IPO because it's a bit cheaper than going through the IPO process. And it's also a lot quicker. So a lot of companies may be interested in getting into the stock market that way, but this SPAC is only going to pick one. Now, one of the things that makes this particular SPAC interesting is what they're looking for. So this particular SPAC is looking into the TMT industry, TMT being technology, media, and telecommunications. So that's companies like Apple and maybe Facebook and stuff like that. Doesn't mean they're gonna acquire them, but they're probably gonna look for a company, maybe even a startup company that is in that realm. So now the execs and the board of directors, again, when I first heard about this SPAC, that's what made me most interested into considering investing into this SPAC. And again, I'm not going to go into huge detail about it. Make sure you watch my last video that I made about it so you can understand exactly why I was interested. But it basically consists of a lot of former Disney executives and some names that are pretty big. Okay, so as far as the Disney execs who are now execs within this acquisition, you have Keith Horn, who will be the CEO and the director. You have Tom Staggs, who will be the chairperson of the Strategic Advisory Committee and the director. I'm pretty sure in the last video I said the Secret Advisory Committee, kind of sounds like SHIELD. Maybe that's what it said back then, but Strategic Advisory Committee. Kevin Mayer, or Meyer, who will be another strategic advisor. By the way, Kevin Mayer is actually the former CEO of TikTok, so that part's kind of cool and interesting as well. Salil Mehta, who will be the CFO, and Idan Shani, who will be the COO. By the way, if I didn't pronounce those last two names correct, please let me know in the comments below. Sometimes I butcher names, I'm really sorry. So anyway, those are the main execs of this new acquisition company. I believe all of them came from Disney. But on top of all of that, it's the next two names who are going to be independent advisors that made me really interested. So the first one is Martin Luther King III, the son of Martin Luther King Jr. And the other person is Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. Shaquille O'Neal, Kazam, LA Lakers center, all that stuff. And he's not shy from investing into other different types of companies. Again, watch the other video if you want details on that. It's actually kind of a funny story added on with it. But that addition is really interesting. And based off the investments that he's made in the past and how those companies are doing now, and his strategic mindset that he has before he invests into particular stocks and companies that he got from Jeff Bezos, that alone made me think this may be a pretty interesting pick and something that I want to keep my eye on. So as far as the IPO details, there are a couple of things that are a little bit different from when I talked about it about a month ago. So when I talked about it a month ago, I said that they were going to enter the stock market with $250 million with 25 million units at $10 a share. Now it's projected at $261 million with 26.1 million units of shares at $10 a share. And then they're also expecting to make about $315 million off that market value, so we're gonna see how that goes. Now, one thing I also saw is that each share is going to include 1/3 of a warrant. And when I did research on a warrant, it's basically an over-the-counter option that you can't do through the brokerage. You can only do it through the company. I'm not really sure the details of that, but I only bring that up because I think that kind of plays a part in why we're not seeing this IPO come out when it's supposed to. By the way, the IPO date is supposed to be set for November 25th, which was yesterday. And the reason I say that is because apparently the original ticker for this company was going to be frx.u. When I read an article on Business Wire about the IPO, it said that the Class A version of this SPAC would have the ticker symbol FRX, and the warrant would have a ticker symbol of FRXWS, I believe. So it could be possible that that transition into, I guess, two different types of stocks may prolong the IPO from when it's announced, even though I'm pretty sure more so people are going to lean towards the FRX. Also, I just think it's because typically you're going to see it happen the day after they announce their merger into the stock market. I've seen that with other companies. And considering the next day is today, Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, by the way, if I didn't say it. Since the stock market's closed, I doubt we're going to see it today, which means we'll probably see it on Friday, maybe even Monday, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that. I could be completely wrong about the split into two different ticker symbols that may have nothing to do with the weighting of this IPO, but that's just something I thought about. Now, as far as my plans with this company, I honestly don't remember what I said a month ago, but as of right now, I understand that this would be the biggest speculative play that I have ever made. It's one thing when you invest into Vecto IQ after hearing about their reverse merger announcement with Nikola Motors. It's another thing when you invest in the Tortoise acquisition after hearing their reverse merger news about Hyliion Holdings. And it's another thing when you invest into Switchback Energy after they announced their reverse merger with ChargePoint, which, by the way, they're doing amazing right now. But this is about a SPAC. And all we know is that they're entering the stock market, and we know who's part of the executive board of directors, and we know what type of company they're looking for, but that's it. The other reason why this is such a huge spec play is because I have no idea, we have no idea how long they will be a SPAC and how long it'll be before they announce a reverse merger with a particular company, nor what that particular company is. Keep in mind, Vecto IQ apparently went through 200 different companies within at least 5 years while they were in the stock market before they found Nikola. Now, granted, how that's going is a different story. Point is that took a while, so this could be a long-term game. Regardless, the possibility of a gain just off announcement alone, regardless of how that company does later, is there. It is a little bit of a naive pick, but with all that being said, I'm willing to invest into at least 10 shares within this company based off my budget and all that stuff. It is an amount that I'm willing to lose. I understand that it may drop over time. So at $10 a share, that'll put me at $100 invested towards it. I'll just drag it to the bottom of my Robinhood list of stocks and just leave it alone until I hear something by the time I'm 40. I don't know, we'll see. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Are you guys interested in this SPAC? It may be kind of hard to be interested, but let me know how you guys think about it. I appreciate you guys watching this video on a not Monday or Thursday. Thanks a lot, and until next time, take care.